You're watching Arkansas Style on KARK.
Welcome back to Arkansas Style. From the page to the screen, Sex and the City changed the conversation for women everywhere. And the mind behind it all, author, journalist, and producer Candace Bushnell. She turned her New York Observer column into a cultural phenomenon, inspiring the hit HBO series and 2 blockbuster films. She just took the stage at Reynolds Performance Hall with True Tales of Sex, Success, and Sex and the City. And today she's sharing her story, her journey, and what it's like to be the real-life Carrie Bradshaw. Well, Candace, thank you so much for being here, of course, with us here on Arkansas Style. What a treat.
Oh, thank you. It's a pleasure.
Folks at home, stop what you are doing. This is an incredible opportunity. I mean, you are going to meet an American icon, and you change the lexicon of the English language with Sex and the City. What has that whole thing been like for you?
Honestly, I do so much work. I've written so many books, and I've actually had 3 TV shows, and hopefully we'll have a 4th coming up. So for me, Sex and the City is, you know, it's a part of my career, but I've had so many other best-selling novels and other things turned into books, turned into TV shows. So it's an important part of my life, but it's not my whole life.
When you reflect back on the body of your work, I mean, where do you draw your inspiration from?
I draw it from real life. I'm endlessly interested in people, you know, what they think, why people are the way that they are. And, you know, ever since I was a little girl, I knew that I was going to be a writer. So that has really dictated really all of my life and all of the decisions that I've made. So I'm really an artist, and I live the life of an artist, actually. So, you know,
Yeah,
I write. Now I do the stage show, True Tales of Sex, Success, and Sex and the City, which started off as a off-Broadway show in New York City, which is huge, actually, and it was a New York Times critic pick. So that's really been one of the biggest highlights of my life.
Fantastic. You know, it's interesting. I run with a group of girls, and so I went to them last night and said, hey, Candace Bushnell is coming on Arkansas Style. What kind of questions do you have? So my friend Doris thought, what is it like? What would you think if it were a set of men living the life of Sex and the City? What do you think they would be experiencing and talking about?
Men would just be men. They would just be living their regular men lives.
Yes. Basic.
You know, there really wouldn't be anything in particular.
Boring. I guess we say they're boring.
You know, they would just be living their men lives. But I think, you know, Sex and the City and the women I write about, I'm very interested in women who are ambitious. I mean, my message to women is to become your own Mr. Big. And to, you know, there's this idea that, you know, being with Mr. Big will make your life. But one of the things that I realized was that I actually wanted to be, you know, be
your own
Mr.
Mr. Big,
and have,
yeah.
You know, control and be successful and, you know, have, you know, the respect that we tend to give men, actually.
Yeah, I love that. You empower women for sure. My friend Beth wanted to know, as you've seen their journey from their 30s to their 50s, you know, how have you seen their relationships change with each other, and then, of course, the romantic relationships?
Well, actually, I wrote a book in 2019 called Is There Still Sex in the City? And it was all about the Sex and the City woman, you know, 20 or 30 years later. And, you know, some of the differences in dating and the different kinds of guys who are out there. And it's a pretty in-depth look at being in your 50s and starting to date again. And again, it's called Is There Still Sex in the City? So that's my contribution to dating over 50. Which
Yeah,
is,
you're so ahead of the game too. I mean, this is the talk of the town, you know, when you talk about women, you know, embracing their power and finding themselves later in life, and then whether they choose to date or not to date, that is really top of mind for everybody. I have a question though, of course, being on Arkansas Style. Did you realize that, you know, style, fashion, shoes would become kind of a character in that series, Sex and the City?
well, fashion is a huge industry in New York City. And, you know, first of all, it started, people were manufacturing clothes in, you know, New York City. There's the garment district. If you want to be a fashion designer, you go to New York City. And there are, so, you know, fashion is one of the big industries in the city. It's a little bit, it's pretty much impossible to avoid. So fashion has always been an integral part of living in the city, and it's reflected in the show. So, I mean, the show did not create the, you know, desire for fashion, but, you know, it's like every major fashion magazine in the world is in New York City.
Yeah. All right, one last question for you. Again, as you sit here today as your own Mr. Big, you know, what would you say to women, you know, who look at you as a real inspiration for living their lives, you know, authentically themselves?
I think it's about finding something that is yours and pursuing it.
Yeah. Well, you are doing it all so very, very well, and what a treat to have you here in Little Rock. Congratulations on your shows, and you're going to continue your lecture series, yes? How can people find you?
It's not a lecture series. It's actually a one-woman show, and it has, you know, video. It's the origin story of Sex and the City mixed with my life story, and there's video, real or not real. So it's an actual play.
Love it, love it. Well, great to see you, great to meet you, and thanks so much for the time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
To keep up with her latest projects and upcoming events, visit CandaceBushnell.com. Now, still ahead, the Art Nouveau Gala returns to Hot Springs in just over a week, and when we come back, we're securing all the details so you don't miss out. Stick around, you're watching Arkansas Style.